This piece is something that I had in my head and decided to just draw to see if I can actually do it. And I think I can do it, so I'm gonna do it. First off, I want to start out with someone bending backwards to like dodge a incoming blade. So this whole scene is gonna be someone dodging a blade. So I'm practicing more like action type fighting scenes that I can draw out and hopefully get done correctly. So yeah, but I actually needed a little bit of help since I couldn't like visualize the angle perfectly. Like I could visualize the angle, but I couldn't visualize the angle perfectly. I had to take a picture of myself with one of my brother's katanas just pointing at my camera to be able to get the angle of the blade actually going correctly. And then I had to take another picture of me at an angle to actually get the exact angle that I wanted for said picture, for said reference, just so I could get that down and then start blasting on through with the details and stuff like that. Again, I wasn't too sure of how to actually execute this idea that I had in my head, but instead of overthinking it, I just decided to do it. A lot of things that I tend to do are I overthink it and then it postpones other things. So I'm just trying to get in the habit of, if I think it, just do it and see if I can do it. If I can't do it, find a way to be able to do it so I can do it in the future easier. Just to get in that mindset of constantly being able to just, hey, believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. Everyone else says you're great. Now you just have to believe that you're great, and then you could do great things. So if I carry that mindset over, especially in art, then I could do whatever I want artistically wise, because I have the skill set to do it. But sometimes I just overthink and be like, oh, that'll be a little bit too hard, or oh, I can't find that correct pose. If I can't find that correct pose, I have means to get that pose either through software or just taking pictures of myself doing the pose. So there's no excuse. So I just getting in the habit of keep on doing it well. But enough about me loving myself. I do want to speak upon the drawing or sketch a little bit more. So after I did the base blue layer, I do tend to go back in and do like a red detail layer. If you haven't seen any of my other artwork, that's how I usually tend to flow in things. And for this detail layer, I thought the blue stagnant layer was a little bit too static, so I wanted to have movement going on. Obviously there's like speed lines and stuff like that, but the movement in the hair and the like the jacket just flying in the back, insinuating that this character that is pushing the sword forward is actually moving forward, with the hair flowing back and then the jacket flowing back behind him also. It just gives it more of a action-packed feel when you add these like little type of movements in it, and it just overall makes it a better piece of artwork. After I did that, I started working on the character that's actually dodging. I didn't actually know what I wanted to do for that character. I just knew I wanted to have a character at that angle, bending backwards, dodging a blade, and then the blade coming forward. So I decided to do something a little bit creepy. I really like how it turned out, his face and everything. Just a dude like just ripped and then just like shirtless, dodging it, but with a creepy ass smile, a toothful smile, and like the eyes that it could see through everything. I just really like how that second character and the first character I designed just works out, to be honest. Hey you, yeah you, did you want a piece of art just like in this video that's created by me, Eldon L. Glover, aka Eldon Draws? Then head over to eldondraws.com/commissions or just eldondraws.com and click the commissions tab, and you can custom order a piece to your liking for me to draw for you. You just gotta commission me over at eldondraws.com/commissions once again. Now back to the video. Once all the sketching was done, I moved on to the line work. Right after sketching, I tend to sit for a bit and then move on to line work just to start getting things out. For the first character, the character that is thrusting the sword, I decided to do the line work how I usually do a solid line around it in the corners, make it a little bit of a thicker line, and just have a consistent flow throughout the entire thing. And then add a thicker line on the outside. I've been doing that because it makes it pop a bit, and it just gives it that oomph in my feeling. People usually use the thicker outline to cover up their mistakes, but I draw really clean in the first place, so the thicker outline, it just gives it that stylistic style essentially that I like, that I want to make my own style. So when someone sees me drawing in this specific way, they know it's my, or see us drawing in this specific way, they know it's like my style. That's my overall goal. But yeah, after I did the first character, I started working on the second character. For the second character, I actually wanted to do something a little bit different because I wanted to have some type of foreshortening. I used the line weight to identify that. Since I do like thicker outline lines, I did the closer it is to the front of the page or towards the camera, quote unquote, would be the thicker lines, and then have it slowly taper off into a little bit thinner lines. They're still fairly thick lines, but they're not as thick as the ones closer to the camera. So it still gives it that overall perception that it is slightly going further away from the camera. Same thing with the sword. I added a thicker line on the sword just to give it that illusion that it is closer to you with those line weights and thickness variables. So line weight and thickness can play a huge role in how your style is perceived or what you're trying to use as perspective. So I wanted to play with it like that because I do believe line work, especially in the way that I draw, which is manga anime type of style, is very, very good to get down. A lot of people nowadays don't really focus on line work. They do more of the Korean type of style, which is fine, and they just have the basic line work, and then they just color in, so the color kind of masks over their line work, so they don't have to be as clean or as particular. But I do believe that if you're able to master both of them, the whole, like your whole comic or your whole art in general will just be top notch. Again, different styles don't need line work, but if you're going for the anime manga style, I do really like line work, while others may not have their main focus as line work and have their main focus set on color and stuff like that. But I will in the future get really good at coloring too, so they'll both go together and I'll be amazing. After I finished adding all the speed lines in for the line work was theoretically done. I added my signature and just morphed it onto the blade because I thought that would be a cool effect and put an opacity on it. Then I started to work on the shading. So in my comic, if you read the newest chapter, which came out like a couple of months ago, like 2 months ago or something like that, 2-3 months ago, over on my website, eldendraws.com, you could read it, SXA, Sign X Awakening. It's over there. You can see my comic page making. I started adding shadows and shadings to it. It just makes the overall page look a lot better, especially with the black and white style and then the eye color pop. It just makes it look a lot better in my opinion. So I've been trying to get better and better at shading and shading certain aspects just to make it stand out more. I'm not the best at shading. I'm still in the learning process, but I do think I have a decent grasp at it, where the light hits how light should hit theoretically, and you can still mess around with it because this is a fantasy world. It's not real life. You're not going to get the lights to hit all the time correctly, but if you make it believable and passable, then people won't really mind. So I like messing around with shading a lot as of late, just shading different areas in different ways, different techniques. It just really makes the picture come to life in my opinion. It's like, again, not the best at it, still learning. If anyone has like tips or videos that they learned or have watched that greatly help them with it, feel free to link them down below in the comments section. But yeah, overall I think I have a pretty decent grasp on it. I tend to go in with a first base and then a second base. In this case, the first base was the overall all around like the darker shaded areas, turn the opacity down to 60, and then I go on a second base with the same black 60 opacity and just go over the first shade area with the same opacity, same color, same brush size and everything, and then it just makes it darker. It just makes everything flow consistently and feel really nice, according to me, or for me. It feels really nice when I do it that way. It's just very logical in my opinion of a way of how to do it. After I do the shading, I tend to add color. In this case, I didn't really want to add color, so I just added a more of a darker tone to the character that is dodging, made him like a black ominous figure, and then I added the color to each of the characters' eyes, respectively. So the character that's dodging, his eyes are of a pinkish. I wanted to do like a pink because it's like very out of the norm, and the way his eyes are cascading, it looks very creepy and cool at the same time. Again, the eyes that can pretty much see through everything. I really love how that turned out. And then the other character just have him have like red eyes. So who's really the evil character in the storyline? The world may never know. But again, I really love how this piece turned out. Let's look at the final piece and see what changes I've made after I finished recording. So here's the final piece. The only thing I changed is actually the top of the blade, I thinned the line a bit. Other than that, I didn't change anything. Overall, I really like how this piece turned out. I didn't know how I was going to feel when I started shading it, but looking at it with the shaded and then the darker parts to it versus without it, I really like how this turned out, and hopefully you guys did too. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Peace. Bye bye.